Okay guys, it's pretty clear I wasn't using even 30% of what I could have been doing.
Why is the car screaming? Oh my God.
Guys, I'm at Haunted Hills Raceway and behind me is the all-new Kia EV6 GT. And I have a bit of a theory. I think Kia are trying to kill me because I am a pleb and I don't know how to drive fast cars, and I'm here at probably one of the most dangerous racetracks in the world. So we're going to be putting this thing through its paces today. I'm going to be driving it around the racetrack. I'm going to get a hot lap with a professional rally driver. That's going to be fun. I'm going to test its 0 to 100 capabilities. Now, Kia reckon this thing will do 0 to 100 in 3.5 seconds, so we'll see what it can do. So we're going to take a quick look at the exterior and the interior of the car first, just to see what's different with the GT version of the EV6. Is it worth the $20,000 premium price tag over the GT line? We'll find that out in today's video. But before we get into that, I just want to thank our channel sponsor, Driver. Driver are a finance comparison website that'll help you get the best possible car loan for your next car. So they actually show you a cost breakdown of all the different loan options that are available to you when you buy your next car, including all of the hidden costs that other finance companies might not want you to know about. It'll help you get the best deal on your next car. So click the link in our description or the pinned comment, and every settled loan will actually receive a $150 fuel card. Anyway, let's get into this bad boy. So I'm here with the Moonscape Grey version of the Kia EV6 GT, and earlier I was driving the Yacht Blue, which in my opinion is the hero color. Now this car does come as standard in the red color, however for an extra $500 you can option it with the blue or this color, which I think looks super cool, though I personally wouldn't go for this because I know maintaining this kind of color is a pain in the ass. Cool color aside, we've got our brand new Kia badge up here at the front, as well as our front-facing 360 camera. This actually has one of the best camera systems I've seen on a car as of late, including cameras on the side mirrors and the back as well, but we'll get back to that later. As far as what's different with the GT over the GT line, we have a slightly different bumper. We also have vertical air vents rather than horizontal, which I just think helps make this car look a lot more aggressive. Moving to the rest of the front, we can see our iconic EV6 headlight design there. I think it looks super cool. And these ones are actually super bright matrix LEDs, which actually have the intelligent lighting system, which means it'll scan for cars ahead and adjust the beam height so that you can get the maximum view distance in any condition. Pretty cool technology there from Kia. Now coming to the side of the EV6, as you can see, just like in the GT line, we have these sleek door handles. They help with aerodynamics, as well as the automatic folding mirrors. Now, if I unlock the car, the door handles present themselves nicely to me over there, and I can open the car and get in. Now, Kia say they've actually lowered this car significantly. However, you can't really tell because this car actually has 21-inch alloys as standard. These wheels are absolutely massive, and that is partly why the range is slightly lower in this model. However, just look at them. I mean, they look incredible. I love this 5-spoke design on the wheel, as well as the lime green brake calipers. I think they look super cool, super sporty, and they are wearing Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, probably one of the best tires you can get at the moment. So very happy to see them on there, especially given what I'm going to be doing today with this car. I also like the fully blacked out mirror design, and these also do have blind spot monitors. And when you merge lanes on the freeway, this little camera here will help you not hit any innocent bystanders because you have blind spot monitoring on the mirrors. Anyway, let's check out the back of the car. All right, here we are at the juicy derriere of the all-new Kia EV6 GT. Check out this light bar. That is one thing that I'm glad Kia kept from the GT line. It is absolutely massive, it is absolutely imposing, and I guarantee that most drivers will be looking at the back of this car, so you want it to look good. Additionally, we have these really interesting, cool, kind of like mosaic-y tile-looking indicators. They actually glow bright orange when they're on, and the GT gets sequential indicators, which are super cool. We've got our really sporty spoiler from the GT line, that's continued as well, and so has the massive Kia logo and the EV6 logo just down there. The extra logo on the back is the GT badge. Now, you can barely see that, honestly, and the GT line badge looks almost the exact same. So for 99% of the population, this is an absolute sleeper. However, for the sharp-eyed enthusiasts out there, if you notice the GT badge or the lime green brake calipers, you'll know better than to try and drag this off at the lights because this thing will smoke you. Another thing I'll mention as well that's changed is this rear diffuser. Now, I think it looks super aggressive, super sporty. Another thing I want to mention is this chrome garnish across the back here. I think it looks super cool, and you can actually check your reflection while you're doing a car review. Anyway, let's get into the interior. All right, guys, coming to the interior of the EV6 GT. And I have to say, it's pretty similar to the GT line, but that's absolutely not a bad thing. This thing has one of the smartest ways of implementing touch climate control, and all you have to do is press one button and it switches from your normal like map, navigation, radio, media buttons to the climate controls. Why don't more car manufacturers do it like that? That is incredibly smart. It saves a lot of space, and it makes a lot of sense to do it like that given that this is an EV, and so there is an absence of a transmission tunnel running through here, so you really get a lot of storage space. You could essentially put an entire handbag in this storage space. Pretty impressive. Now, as far as what's different with the GT version, well, the first thing you'll notice when you sit in this car are the seats. They are racing bucket seats. They actually will accommodate a helmet as well, just to kind of show you that Kia wants this to be driven on a track. I think the seats look absolutely amazing. They are very reminiscent of the i30N seats. I think they might be the i30N seats just reskinned for this car, but I'm not sure about that one. Another thing you'll notice as well is the theme from the brake calipers continues to the interior. I've got this lime green stitching all around the inside of the steering wheel. I think it looks super sporty and super cool, as well as this metallic green GT button. So I press that and I know I'm ready to absolutely burn some rubber. Another cool thing as well is the GT embossed into the seats. I think it looks super cool. And other than that, pretty much the exact same interior as the GT line. Oh, got a little GT badge there with some carbon fiber on it. That looks pretty cool. Apart from that, it's just a mess of piano black plastic. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I can forgive Kia because this car is amazing. Oh, I'm just so comfortable in this like leather suede feeling material. It's so nice in here. Oh, one other thing, we've got a massive sunroof. So the sunroof's actually pretty decently sized, and I do have a cloth cover that folds to protect it. So honestly, I'm pretty impressed with this car. Like in terms of its ability to daily drive, as well as take it on the track, I really think Kia has nailed the best of both worlds. And then we come to the infotainment screen, and it just continues to amaze me. Now, Hyundai, Kia, Genesis Group are known now, in the last couple of years at least, for having amazing digital instrument clusters and infotainment screens. This one's no exception. I've got a dual 12.3-inch display up in front of me. It's a curved screen as well. Super high definition, super responsive, wide Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So you're not sacrificing any of the modern conveniences by getting the GT Sporty version. And I really think you're getting the best of both worlds. Anyway, let's check out the back seats. All right, here we are in the back seats of the EV6 GT. I've said EV6 GT so much in this video. Let me know if that annoys you in the comments. We've actually got heated seats back here. That's pretty cool. That's an addition in the GT version. And I forgot to mention heated seats up front as well. So they're not just racing bucket seats, they also have comfort features as well. Amazing. The quality materials kind of continues to the back. I've got suede, Alcantara feel pretty much everywhere except for the roof. That's cloth. Ew. I've got my cup holders if I fold this down, and I can actually pull that back to reveal a pretty decently sized storage area. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention about the front as well is I've got two USB-C chargers and two USB-C chargers in the back, and that is in addition to a wireless charger as well. So very impressive there. The backs of these seats, surprisingly, I expected them to be like hard plastic. They're actually soft, like leatherette. Like, that is just attention to detail. Now, where does it go a little bit downhill? Obviously, being an EV, it has a massive amount of batteries underneath the floor, so my tow room is a little bit limited. However, my leg room is quite good, as well as my headroom being pretty good. All right, that's enough about the interior, I think. Let's check out the boot space. All right, I know no one cares about this. This thing is an absolute track weapon, but let me just do the obligatory boot opening and talking about boot capacity real quick. As you can see, it is the exact same as the EV6 GT line. We also have our underfloor storage, which houses our household socket charger. Nothing special there. Honestly, this is almost a small SUV, so it has a massive amount of boot space. You're gonna have no trouble using this as a daily driver. Practicality-wise, it's amazing. So now that that's done, let's get into something a bit more interesting, like the motors and the power outputs. So this car has the exact same 77 kilowatt hour electric battery that the GT line had. However, it's got a vastly more powerful powertrain. So this car will pump out numbers like 430 kilowatts of power, 740 Newton meters of torque. So this thing is an absolute beast. And what's the cost of that? Well, about 60 kilometers in range. So the GT line had about 484 kilometers of range. This one will have about 424 kilometers. and that is also due to the larger 21-inch alloys. So in terms of charging, here we have our standard charging port as well as our fast charger there. And thankfully this car is able to charge up pretty quickly. It's able to make use of that 195 kilowatt fast charger. But don't go thrashing this car too hard if you want to maximize range. I have put it in GT mode and kind of thrashed it around a bit, and I've seen the range drop significantly. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, that's enough about numbers and boring stuff. Let's drive this thing. All right, guys, so we have a pretty familiar guest, let's just say, on the channel, sitting in the car.
You're well and truly your host, your proper host.
All right, shut up, all right, I'm talking. So I thought I'd invite him. I think he was pretty sad that he missed out on the event. So we're gonna launch it. So friend, what do you think it'll do?
I don't want to be pessimist, but 4.2 seconds.
4.2? That is very pessimistic. I'm gonna say a solid 3.9. And I reckon we're going to use 2% of range.
Just remember, you and we add another ton to the car. By the way, this is being filmed in Mexico. So welcome. Fist me hard, bro.
Let's do it.
Oh. Why is the car screaming? Oh my God.
Oh. I mean, you win. 0 to 100 in 4.14 seconds. I think I need to give that another go.
That is nuts.
That is so fast. Though.
Yeah, do it on your own.
All right, I'll do it on my own and see if it improves the time. All right, guys, so Kia claimed that this will do 0 to 100 in 3.5 seconds. Let's find out. So I've got the car in sport mode, which gives me maximum power from the electric motors. My foot's all the way planted on the brake, all the way on the accelerator, and... Oh my God. Okay, so we pretty much did it in 4 seconds flat, and I reckon we could do even better than that. But let's leave it at that for today, and let's drive this thing normally, / on the track. All right, guys, so here we are sitting inside the Kia EV6 GT, and I'm taking it through some twisties, putting it through its paces, and at the moment I'm just sitting in efficiency mode, and it's actually quite efficient. We have been driving on the freeway for a little bit, and I'm sitting at about 22 kilowatts per 100 kilometers. Now, this car does have the same size battery as the EV6 GT-Line. However, obviously, because it's got pretty much double the power, that range is going to be slightly decreased. But if I go ahead and hit my drive mode selector, let's switch it to sport mode. Now let's give it some sauce. Oh man, that picks up power. And I believe this does have adaptive damping as well, because I can feel like the steering has just tightened up a little bit. I'm getting a lot more feedback from the road. The car is yelling at me because it thinks I'm leaving the lane. Have you never heard of a driving line EV6? All right, not the most intense roads here, but a lot of fun nonetheless. And I can really feel the difference in the power over the GT line. Now, you are paying about a $20,000 premium for this car, which brings it actually kind of close to things like the BMW i4. Obviously a very different car. However, it does really raise the question, is it worth paying $100,000 for a Kia? As I take it through the twisties, God, this thing handles amazingly. Obviously, being an EV, it has a very low center of mass, which means it has very little body roll around these corners. And I have to say, this thing is very impressive. Now, we are on the way out to Haunted Hills Raceway, which means I'm gonna be able to drive this thing on the track today, which I believe is where this thing is meant to be driven. So all of the power in this car is generated by its 2 electric motors, sending power to all 4 wheels. So yes, it is all-wheel drive, and it generates about 430 kilowatts of power, 740 Newton meters, and I'm pretty sure the BMW iX M60 that I reviewed recently also had those same figures. This thing is ridiculous. Now, I do have a passenger off screen with me. I hope he's not himself too bad. I've just got to, you know, I've got to test this car thoroughly, just like we do with all our cars at CarSauce. We give them the sauce. Oh my God. All right, now I've got to switch back to eco mode because I have range anxiety. We still have another 100 kilometers to go in our journey. So let me just drive it a little bit more in efficiency mode and talk a bit about the comfort of this car. Now, obviously having a sportier suspension setup is going to make the ride a little bit harsher. However, I have to say, Sitting in this car for a couple of hours now, it's been quite comfortable. You've got all of the advanced safety systems that you would require for a long road trip. It's pretty practical, it's nice and spacious in the cabin, got dual zone climate control, pretty much teched out how you'd expect from a top of the range Kia. Materials in the cabin feel quite nice. I really like this bespoke Kia EV6 steering wheel. Pretty much the exact same as in the GT line, obviously with the addition of the GT button. And I have been driving over a couple of potholes today and I am getting a little bit more feedback than I did in the Kia EV6 GT line. However, I wouldn't exactly call it uncomfortable. And I have to say, these roads are really inspiring me. So I'm gonna press the GT button as my passenger straps on his second seatbelt. And I mean, this thing is on rails. Holy crap, it picks up instantaneously and it turns on a dime. It feels like it's almost reading my mind with where I want to go and where I want to place it on the road.
All right, we all good?
Ready to
Let's
go.
have a bit of a lap.
Oh, we're going for a bit of a hot lap.
So it's funny because my acceleration is no faster than your acceleration, but it always feels a bit different from the passenger's seat.
This is very different indeed.
Just sort of using the limit of grip we've got. There's a lot of grip.
Oh, we're coming up to O.
This is shit. So the other thing is you get quite light, but we need a lot of brakes to get to stop.
Oh, man.
Here, you can feel how the car is working as much as it can to give me grip.
Oh, four-wheel drift, almost off the track there. Beautifully done, though.
My rally style doesn't really lend to tarmac driving very well, as you can see. Got to keep it nice and tidy. Oh my God. A little bit of a clip over the crest.
Okay, guys, it's pretty
Building some
clear I
speed.
wasn't using even 30% of what I could have been doing. Oh my
Keeping it
God.
nice and tight in here.
So you're obviously using the GT mode, so the ELSD are in
Yes.
the sportiest settings.
Yeah, so you can see here when I full throttle, it really tries to give me as much turn-in grip as
Yeah.
possible. That's a really important thing that the torque vectoring tries to do. So it's full throttle out of there, and it gives you as much as it can, but trying to turn the front tyres to just give you as much grip as you can to try and
Right.
get full throttle on exits and as much acceleration as possible. So
That was blistering.
she's a bit of fun. A bit of fun.
She's too much for me to handle.
Not quite as neat as a tarmac driver would have given you, but fun nonetheless.
That was rally style, guys.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so I've gotten my hot lap. I've driven the car on track. Guys, I'm just absolutely mind blown. So we are currently at Haunted Hills in Gippsland in Victoria. Let's just say the hills have eyes because this track is terrifying. There are so many hidden corners. You just really have to know the track well to be able to push the car. And I gave the car a decent amount of sauce, but then Cody, the professional rally driver, showed me what true sauce is and really put me to shame. So what's amazing about the EV6 is depending on the drive mode that you have it in, it has a completely different personality. I did my first lap on the track in eco mode, and I found that I was able to push the accelerator a lot harder without risk of losing the rear end and going into a four-wheel drift. Additionally, handling was a little softer, so the car does have adaptive suspension and an electronic limited slip differential. Pretty much it has onboard computers to help control how much grip the car has or doesn't have depending on the mode. So as you go up in the drive modes, my second lap, I did sport mode. So here we are coming up to a second lap. I'll switch it to sport mode. So my second lap on track, I did in sport mode, and now I was getting a little bit more confident. So the car was just kind of responding more rapidly to my inputs. I could feel the road a little bit easier in my hands, and just in general, the car was a lot more responsive. Oh, that is a big compression down that hill. This track is a lot of fun, I have to say, and this car, obviously being a very heavy EV, it still loves to get thrown around on this track. I mean, this is just so much fun. Like, literally just changing the drive mode has made me give the car more sauce. Like, I'm trying to just present to the camera here, but it's really just making me squeeze every little drop of power out of this car as I thrash it around the track. Now, on my third lap, I press the little GT button, and that puts it into its full-on race mode. And what that does is it gives it the sportiest suspension setting. Now, all of these are fully customizable. Oh my God, this car just hooks in. Oh, this is just incredible, guys. I cannot describe the performance of this car. It just deserves to be taken on a track. Oh man, this thing is nuts. But we're not here to thrash it, we're here to talk about it. So I want to talk a bit about the GT mode or the personal mode. Now, if you're familiar with the Hyundai N products, you would be very familiar with this mode because it's pretty much the same thing. It allows you to customize every single aspect of the car, including the electronic limited slip differential on the rear, as well as the handling, things like suspension, the steering gear ratios, as well as the responsiveness of the throttle. So you can really customize how you want this car to behave on the track. And I must say, this car really makes you feel like you're a better driver than you probably have any right to feel. It's just so easy to drive. And I actually found the regenerative braking as well on the track makes it so easy, because rather than having to apply any brake, you can just lift off the throttle and it kind of brakes for you. Oh my God, this is so much fun. I have this entire track to myself right now and I'm just loving it. Guys, I wasn't sold completely on the extra $20,000 for the GT model, but now I completely get it. The performance of this car is absolutely insane. We are actually reaching what I would consider to be supercar levels of performance. Like the fact that I was even talking with other car journalists and comparing this to a Porsche Taycan 4S earlier today is ridiculous. I'm sitting in a Kia right now. Like, I cannot believe this. So I think that's enough fun on the track. Let me get into my final thoughts. All right, guys, final thoughts on the EV6 GT. Is it worth $100,000 or just shy of that? Yes. And if you need to know why, just watch the rest of the video again, because this thing is amazing. It's got everyday conveniences, adaptive cruise control, adaptive suspension. It's got comfort features like seat heating in the front and rear. It looks sick. I mean, look at it. It's got massive 21-inch wheels, but still manages to have minimal road noise, really cool lime green brake calipers, privacy glass in the back, which I didn't even mention before. It's got a sunroof. It's got 2 massive screens, an infotainment screen, and a digital instrument cluster. What more could you want? Oh, plus racing bucket seats. So while you're launching 0 to 100 in like 3.5 seconds, you'll be sitting in luxurious, comfortable racing bucket seats. Guys, this car is worth it. And I really think that Kia is pushing new ground with this kind of vehicle. Obviously, they were pushing the envelope in terms of the performance and, you know, taking a bit of a risk in terms of pricing and what kind of market is going to be going for this car. But I think they've actually hit a home run with this one. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think this thing is amazing. Tell me if you think I'm an idiot. As always, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you really hated the video. And as always, ciao for now.